Hello, I'm going to show you guys how to do this problem from your homework. So this is the inequality you've been asked to graph. X is less than negative 6y. So what you're first going to do is you're going to treat it as if it said x equals negative 6y. And you're just going to get 2 points. You're just going to come up with a couple of pairs of points here. And the easiest things to work with are zeros. So what you're going to do, because this side with the y is actually the one that has it being multiplied by something, x has got a 1 in front of it, and so we don't write it. But because there's a negative 6 in front of the y, we're actually going to sub in for y this time. We're going to let y change variable. So the first thing I'm going to do, the easiest number to work with in math is 0. So I'm going to let y be 0. And then this equation says that x equals negative 6 times whatever y is. So when y is 0, x equals negative 6 times 0, which is simply just 0. And so there's 1 point that's on this line. Okay, again, this is inequality, but this is a line. So 0, 0 is a point that's on this line. All right, now we did 0. That's the easiest number in math to work with. The next easiest number in math to work with is 1. So now I'm going to let y change from 0 to 1. All right, now y is 1. X is equal to negative 6 times whatever y is. So once again, I'm going to multiply whatever I have for y by negative 6, right? Negative 6 times whatever y is what x is. So then I end up with negative 6, because negative 6 times 1 is negative 6, and there is a second point. And now I have the second point on the line, 0, 0, and 6, negative 6, 1. So I have 2 points now I can make my line. So I'm going to go to the graphing feature that comes with this particular question. I'm going to blow up this to see it. Now this is a line when it's equals. So the first thing I'm going to do is use the line tool. Okay, I'm going to click the line tool, and then again, notice up here in the corner, it's going to tell me what point I'm hovering the mouse around on. So the first point that's on this line is 0, 0. So I'm going to find 0, 0, and I'm going to click the pointer. Okay. The next point that I know that's on the line is negative 6, 1. So I'm going to go to negative 6, 1, and there's a second point on the line. Click there, and there's my line. Now what this line does is it separates this XY plane into 2 parts, the part above and then the part below. Okay. Now sometimes we have to dash this line, sometimes we have to keep it solid. We dash it, we choose this option right here if this order symbol is not underlined. Right, so if it's not underlined, if it's just less than or just greater than, then we dash the line. But when it is underlined, then we leave it solid. Okay, so we're going to leave the line solid because this is underlined. But had it again been not underlined, I would have dashed it. Okay, so there's the first part. There's the line, and what we've graphed at this point is x equals negative 6 times y. That's not what we're asked to do. We're asked to graph the inequality x is less than or equal to negative 6 times y. So now what we have to do is come up with a test point to check to see if it's true or not. So we go back to this grid that we have, this graph, and we're going to come up with any point that's not on the line. It doesn't matter what point it is, as long as it's not on the line. So the test point I'm going to pick is right here, 1, 1. Alright, I'm going to pick 1, 1. Alright, so there's the point again. That's the point 1, 1. So I'm going to type in 1, 1. And remember, that's xy. So this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 1 for x in this inequality and 1 for y in this inequality. And I'm going to see if it's true or not. So this is an x in front of the order symbol. The x coordinate is 1, and I replace that x with 1. Okay, and then I have a less than, or equal to, negative 6 times, and then the y coordinate. And the y coordinate here is 1. So I replace the y with 1. So I'm just plugging in the point into the inequality. Now I'm going to simplify it. 1 is less than or equal to negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. 1 is less than or equal to negative 6. Is that true? Is 1 less than or equal to negative 6? No. 1 is bigger than negative 6. Any positive number is bigger than a negative number. So this is not true. And because this point plugging into the inequality makes a statement that's not true, that means that point is not part of the region that gets shaded. Well, since there's only two regions, there's the part that's above this line, and then there's the part that's below this line. And that means the part we shade is the opposite direction of that point. So the part we shade is actually below the line. So when we go back to answer the inequality, the question, you shade, use your bucket, and you shade below. Notice I'm below the line down here. I'm going to shade below, and there's my answer. All right, check answer. It tells me I did it right. All right, let's try it one more time. So x is less than or equal to negative 10y. So same thing, the y is with the number, so I'm going to choose 0 first. And if I plug in 0 for y, I get 0 times negative 10 is 0, so I get 0 for x. So that's the point 0, 0 again. And then if I plug in 1 for y, I get negative 10 times 1 is negative 10. I get negative 10 for x. So 1 for y, negative 10 for x. So that's negative 10, 1. There would be my point. It is underlined, so I keep it solid. And then I'm going to shade either above or below, depending on it, if it makes it true or not. So once again, I would pick a test point. All right, this time I'll pick a different point. So last time I picked 1, 1, and it doesn't matter. You can pick any point, and just as long as it's not on the line. So I'm going to pick this time 1, 0, or 0, 1. So that's a point that's not on the line. And I'm going to, again, that's 1 for x, or sorry, 0 for x, and 1 for y. So that means I'm going to plug in 0 for the x here. I'm going to plug in 1 for the y. So just same thing as before. Right? And I'm going to simplify it, see what I get. So 0 is less than or equal to negative 10 times 1. Is again, negative 10. Is 0 less than or equal to negative 10? No, 0 is bigger than negative 10. So this is not true. So in that case, I would shade down here in the other region. That would be the region that gets the paint bucket. So when I go to the problem here, I would shade down below, and again, that's the correct answer. Okay, you plot 2 points as if it were a line. Just pick some numbers for the side that has the number being multiplied by it. 0, 1. It's fine to use those. And then shade, pick a test point that's not on the line, and then shade in that direction of that point if that point, when you plug it in, makes a true statement. Shade in the opposite direction if it makes a false statement.